Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Reboot Wellness Digital Experience. I am one of your hosts, Lauren Rice. I'm the founder of Blue Mind Body. I'm a nutritional therapist and a mindfulness teacher. And I have Tony Twyman, my co-host here. Tony is a certified health coach and a personal trainer and the creator and founder of the Reboot Wellness Cruises, which because of all the fun of 2020, we had to do a mini digital version of this year. So we have this wonderful content for you for free today. And we are so excited to get started. We have our first speaker here. Paige is a brilliant holistic nutritionist and yoga teacher. You can find her on Instagram at nourish2, the number 2, the core, or yoganut108 at Gmail. Good ways to contact her. And Paige is going to talk to us today about digestion in times of stress. She's going to teach us a little bit about the digestive system, how it functions, and ways we can support ourselves that all go with this year's theme of reset, relax, and restore. So I'm super excited to have Paige here today as another nutrition nerd. So Paige, please take it away, get started, teach us.
Thank you, Lauren and Tony, for having me. My name is Paige Buckus. Like she said, I'm a holistic holistic nutritionist and yoga teacher. I actually went to Metro State University of Denver, and I got my bachelor's degree in human nutrition, and I minored in integrative therapeutic practices. So with that, when I was in school, I was finding that I wasn't wanting to go the path of the registered dietitian, even though it's really valuable in the community. I found that I really want to focus on what got me into nutrition, which really was digestion, because I always had an interest in eating well. I loved to eat pretty much all food growing up, and my dad hunted and fished and gardened, and I really understood good food, but I wasn't digesting it well, and I was in pain all the time and bloated, and I always had to find the bathroom wherever I was because I have IBS, and it was very frustrating. And I'm sure a lot of you have gone through this if you have digestive issues where you have something going on and you can't figure out what it is, and maybe heartburn or things like that. And if you focus on your digestion, pretty much everything else falls into place. So I saw the value in really focusing on that. So I decided to really become my own health advocate. And I went to school for nutrition. And with that, I knew something was really triggering my symptoms. So I knew nutrition had a huge part of it. But also the other side of it is I got into yoga because of the whole mindfulness eating part. And those two together has really saved my my triggers and symptoms with IBS, and I am able to really feel good and live a more fulfilling life now. So I learned it's not really just what you eat, but how you eat, right? They say like you are what you eat, but you are also how you digest is what I go further with that. Because no matter how well you eat, if you're not digesting well, then it's just like, it doesn't even matter, right? So, and with that, slowly I've learned, what works for me, and everybody's very different in your body. Like, it depends how you want to approach things, but this is as far as what we're going to go over today. I want us to really focus on what has worked for me, and also what works in general. But through this discussion, we're going to talk about digestion and stress a lot, because we may not even realize how much this is affecting us on every level. With stress, I would say that we're pretty much always under stress, right? It's like we've gotten used to it. It's almost like a normal thing now, and it shouldn't really be, right? We should take that time to find that more of a natural state of peace and relaxation. It's important because our bodies are always trying to maintain homeostasis, right? That's the goal of our body, is to survive, right? But we don't want to just survive, we want to thrive. And to avoid or correct any of these disease states, it's good to really put an emphasis on the GI tract, the gastrointestinal tract. These are, so the areas I was thinking of focusing on today in this discussion, just talk about like the actual digestive process, so that we have a better understanding of that, and the nervous system and how it's very intricately linked. Get into a little more detail of stress and the immune system, the environment in which we're eating, our emotions and nutrients, and therapies and solutions we can focus on. So the first part with the digestive process, often when we think about digestive process, even when we're just thinking about food, the process is starting. So it's not once it gets into your stomach, right? There's a whole process up until that point even. So when we start thinking about eating, and we're fasted and we're needing to eat, we'll feel hunger because of the rise of circulating ghrelin. I always say this wrong. And the way that the food looks and smells also has a psychological role in how we decide to eat and how we digest. So as far as our hunger and our appetite, once food is like in our mouth, right, it's mixing with, it's actually first touching our tongue, which is signaling to our body to get prepared for food. So like say if we're eating really fast and we don't really taste our food, right then we're skipping a big step. We also want to chew our food enough to let it mix with the saliva, and enzymes that help break down our food. Because I often say our stomach doesn't have teeth, and it's like a funny visualization, but it helps because if you start to think you're just like swallowing your food and not even chewing it, then it's going to be really hard for your stomach to break that down. So you have to take that time, and really take the time to enjoy your food. I say in America, we fast food, right? And it's become around the world too, but just to sit and take the time to really pay attention and enjoy our food, that is already starting the digestive process. So pretty much chewing, right? It's assisting in the breakdown of the food, so it's readily absorbed. Helps you control portion sizes. Like if you're scarfing something down, you're not chewing it enough, you're probably going to eat more. Also gives more time to mix with amylase, so it breaks down the starch, and it lessens the amount of energy internally to break down the food, and it keeps your teeth strong, and free from bacteria. And then you get to enjoy your food, right? Like savoring every bite, even if it's something that is, unhealthy or something that you technically will have these feelings towards. Like we don't ever want to shame ourselves. Instead, if you're like going to eat that ice cream, then just savor every single bite of it, and not bringing that shame into it, because that's like if you're going to have it, just enjoy it all the way. So after we chew the food and it moves down into our stomach, where we have stretch receptors that actually let us know like how full our stomach is. And with that, our stretch receptors signal the hormone gastrin to release hydrochloric acid, which actually helps to kill bacteria in the stomach, and it aids in the breakdown of protein. There's so many different processes. I'm just kind of going overview of it for you in case you get a little brushed up on it, or just if it's something new to you. The pancreas, liver, and the gallbladder, which stores the bile, all secrete digestive juices. Because we don't have those teeth in the stomach, we have these digestive juices that really break down our food, as well as the smooth muscles moving it around and actually trying to help us bring it through. So all of those digestive juices would include like bile salts, enzymes, bicarbonate, and that HCl, as well as we focus on, we'll get into it more, but the healthy bacteria in our gut. The enzymes lipase, protease, and amylase from the pancreas aid in digesting fats and carbohydrates and proteins. The pancreas also secretes the bicarbonate to help neutralize the acid in the stomach. So the job of the bile salts from the liver are to emulsify fats and assimilate the fat-soluble vitamins A, D, E, and K. These organs also are involved in everyday processes of detoxification. So you probably have heard detox, 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 and it's like every day we detox or we die, right? That's just a normal process that happens every day. So it's really just getting your digestion to be on track, and that will allow you to detox just naturally in a healthy way. So by the time the food gets to the large intestines, it's pretty much ready to absorb the water and the electrolytes, and then they're reabsorbed. And the major part of the large intestines is to ferment the fiber and transform it into shorty. Sorry. Can you go away, Zane? Yes, sorry. Got a distraction in the background. Shorty.
No worries.
The short chain fatty acids. So when we think about all the probiotics in our body, they need to eat. So that's the prebiotic food for them. So if you've heard the term prebiotic, that is just food for the good guys in your gut. And we'll get into that more a little bit later and how stress really affects them as well. And going on to like the nervous system. Now this part is, I feel like, one of the most important parts of the connection between the two, of the between the mind and the gut, and how stress and digestion are still related. So the gastrointestinal tract has its own nervous system, which is actually the autonomic nervous system. And so we have it actually, it's called the enteric nervous system, which is the second brain. So if you've heard about this term, the second brain, it's crazy how much they actually our brains, our second brain and first brain are related. And it's actually more complicating than just saying your gut, but your gut and your brain are really connected through the vagus nerve, and it lies in the medulla oblongata and extends through the entire digestive system. And it's responsible for basic life functions like your heartbeat, your breathing, and digestion. So you can see why it's so important to focus on this vagus nerve. And when you focus on this with the parasympathetic nervous system, it's turned on during times of relaxation, so that rest and digest. And we don't want to be eating if we were trying to run away from danger, right? Like your body knows, and it has that innate intelligence in that nervous system to let you know, okay, you're relaxed. Oh, you can eat and you can digest. But if you're not able to relax, then your body is going to actually right away, like even without you thinking about it, go into that the sympathetic nervous system, which is actually that fight or flight response. So someone who, including me, has grown up different situations of trauma, chronic stress, and like say with PTSD, that would be one huge reason why I have IBS, because of different traumas and how that chronic stress is like, it's just wired into my nervous system, which makes it really hard to relax, rest, and digest, right? I'm like in the fight or flight mode, or freeze, which my body's just like freezing up and not actually working properly. So that's a huge reason why IBS is actually kind of like, if you can't think of anything else, it's going to be the most thing that's related to your mental state and how you digest. So other parts is, so with the fight or flight response, when your body believes it's under stress, your adrenal glands will secrete hormones such as adrenaline and cortisol. And if you ever, basically, we want to go from that survival mode right into that thriving mode, like I was talking about before. And during those stressful times, what really is happening when the digestive process is shutting down, it's blunting flow to your central organs. It's slowing your muscle contractions of the stomach, right? Like so that it can move the food around. It's suppressing your immunity. downgrading your detoxification, impairing your fatty acid metabolism, and releasing glucose and cholesterol, as well as reducing the secretions of those digestive enzymes. So you can see like how when you're under stress, like all of these systems are fired up and you're not able to feel good, you know? So if we're like this constant stress state and we're like not focused on eating or driving, our bodies don't know what's going on. Like, okay, I guess I'm in this fight or flight mode all the time. So then we have to get that time to just enjoy it, right? Like take that whole process in. And even the second brain that I was talking about in our gut, right, produces about 40 different neurotransmitters. Obviously, I'm a little bit nervous talking on here, but and it's including dopamine and serotonin. You know, dopamine signals for the muscles to contract in the colon and for the pleasure reward system. And then serotonin is also associated with mood and sleep, body temperature, and your appetite. So very closely linked. So even when we think about stress too, you probably think stress is bad, right? But there is good stress in our life, but it's still stress on our body. So there's two different types of stress. The positive stress is eustress, or negative stress is distress. And yes, we can have healthy stress, but it's either way could affect our digestion and make uncomfortable different conditions, like being bloated and having cramps and stomach aches, skin disorders, constipation, diarrhea, and heartburn, just a few of the things we could go through. The deeper effects of times of stress include like the smooth muscles of the stomach, talking about moving the food around. They can have spasms, and you'll have those digestive juices reduced. Actually, another thing with something that helps also, if we like drink too much water, we're just going to dilute those digestive juices, right? Or if we have too much food in our stomach, we don't have the room to like really move the food around and get it through. So we want to think about like what's actually happening in our bodies so that we understand how to really take care of ourselves better. And then other things when we're stressed, there's increased permeability. So if you've heard of like leaky gut syndrome, there's a disruption in pain regulation. I think that was one of the biggest things that like motivated me to change. Like certain things I just can't eat. My body does not digest them well. And it was the pain. A lot of times people say, I don't know how you could give up pizza. Like, oh my gosh, I couldn't live without pizza. And I'm like, I can't live in pain every day. Like I really found good alternatives. Like I do vegan cheese now. And it's not like I'm eating it every single day, but my stomach doesn't hurt after, and it's worth everything to me. So it's almost like when you get sick and tired of being sick and tired, you change, right? Like you eventually can't handle it anymore. And that's how it got for me. So this is where I got to the point like, okay, I need to do something, and I really need to get educated. And also you can have a heightened inflammatory response, and there's negative effects on your microbiota, which this is like, we'll get into this more, which I'm fascinated with everything with gut bacteria. So you can see how it's really important just alone, to manage your stress for your digestion. The immune system, which is something that we think about, I feel like has gotten a lot more attention now with people now know about gut bacteria and all that, but we're just starting to learn about it compared to like what we know about vitamins and things like that. This is still such a new topic, and I think it's really exciting. Something I think is really fun is that our body, as far as human cells to bacteria, there's 10 bacteria to one human cell in our body. So we are actually more bacteria than we are human. So we're just like this big host for our bacteria. So we want them, these good guys on our side, right? We want them fighting for us. They're on our skin, they are in our bodies, like they're everywhere, right? So if we want to think about it like that, we're like, okay, how do we feed them? How do we take care of them? How do we keep them happy? And so this is a big part of it, but also the immune system is related to digestion and stress by way of macrophages and cytokines, and those macrophages are the intermediate members within the crosstalk between your nervous system and your gut. So they also generate protein messengers, the cytokines, which initiate the inflammatory response when necessary during infection, right? And inflammation is good when we need it, but chronic inflammation and when we don't want it, it can become a problem. So that overstimulation of those cytokines can lead to disorders as Crohn's disease and inflammatory bowel disease, ulcerative colitis, right? So you've probably heard of these, and that's really where it's coming from, right? This chronic inflammation. And so, yeah, I truly believe if we fix our gut, we fix pretty much everything about our bodies and our minds. And it also includes that saying, like, if you help your inflammation, then everything else, because it's a big part of it in your stomach. So we need that symbiotic relationship to those microorganisms living inside of us, especially like during times of stress. We actually are killing all the good guys and then letting the bad bacteria overpopulate, right? And when we're eating foods that are really high in sugar and processed, we're just letting those bad guys like populate more. So I always think of them like a little army inside of us, right? And we want to really take care of them. And so they're also crucial for our mental health, which I think is really fascinating. Even if you are educated and you know what to eat, it doesn't necessarily mean you will make the right choice if you're really, really hungry, right? Like your brain will just get hijacked by those bad bacteria, and they're just going to be like, feed me all that sugar and feed me, everything like that. So it's important for us to keep our body with our blood sugar really consistent, nice and stable. Like it will go up and down, but we don't want those really high spikes and those low drops, because once we drop really low, it's like that no willpower zone, right? So to eat, yeah, right. Like it doesn't matter what like if your body's like, I'm starving, I'm gonna die, I need to just grab whatever is around me. And so there's so many factors with
Three Cheetos.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like there's so many factors with nutrition that come into play, and that's why I have to look at each person like holistically, because it's insane how many different factors, things that I feel like I end up becoming a therapist when I help people with their nutrition, because you start to understand like how did they grow up? What things did their mom make or something? But what is the maybe sentimental connection to food? There's advertisements that are bombarding us, and so many different factors that we don't even realize the layers of it, and how affected we all are by all those other factors. So this leads us nicely into like talking about environment. So it's like I said, it's not only important like what we eat, but how we eat, but also even if you ate like that perfect diet, it's all about that digestion. It keeps coming back to that. And so for me, like the way I do eat is what's best for my digestion. And I find it's for me, because I have IBS, it has to be foods that are very easily digested. Nothing that's too tough. Like I can't eat red meat. I can't eat melted cheese. It's just really tough on my system. And basically you just want to assimilate those nutrients properly, but also it's that idea of being relaxed, having that full attention into your food, slowing down, taking a few breaths. If you are actually with other people, even noticing how their choices will affect you. I heard about this concept where, say, there's four people out to eat, and then the first person says, I'll have a salad. And then the other person's like, okay, I'll have a salad. And the third person's like, I'm going to get a cheeseburger and with fries and a milkshake. And then the other people are like, well, I want to change my order now. I want that. Like, it's actually funny how we can influence each other, right? I mean, it makes sense. We're all so connected. But it's like, oh, well, I'm seeing what they're having. Now I'm thinking I should eat that. Or it could go the other way. Or maybe like, oh, this person, oh yeah, sorry about that. That hopefully that will go away, the noise in the background.
Okay.
If someone wants to eat really unhealthy and the next person says, oh, I'll have a salad, they might change their mind. So we have a lot of factors to really consider when we're making those choices. And so we don't expect to be perfect with our choices and with our digestion, because it's something we're working on every day. With every single choice we make, that's what makes the long-term effects. I'm gonna probably go inside just so it's not as loud. So I go over here.
Sounds like a racetrack.
I know, it does sound like a racetrack.
All of a sudden, it got really loud.
I know. I gotta go over here. I feel like since I moved to Florida, people are literally like racing everywhere. Yeah, so I'll just go right here for right now. Yeah, so as I was saying, every choice we make, whether it's healthy or unhealthy, it's going to impact us in the long term. So even if we have one unhealthy meal or one healthy meal, it's not going to change us in the long term. So when we do choose something we believe is not as healthy, again, let's just embrace it, not shame ourselves, because that's just going to cause more stress and we won't digest it, right? It's like this full circle keeps coming around. So talking about like emotions and nutrients, I actually love how connected it is, how connected emotions and our food and all that is, because that means we actually can put this in our hands and we do have some control over it. Even if talking about
Paige, you're breaking up a little bit.
Really?
Yeah, you're breaking up a little bit. It might be a better spot. Let me see. Is she coming in clear on your side, Lauren?
No, it was just a little bit distorted.
Okay.
Too, but she might be getting better now if she's moving. This is live, everybody. We love live.
I'm like, this is like spinning around on my chair trying to find a better spot.
No problem.
No, you're fine. Take your time. We're good. We're good.
The information is very high quality.
Exactly. I want the info to get there. I don't want it to get too choppy for folks. So.
Yeah. It's funny because it really looks really clear on my end, but that's good. Thanks for letting me know.
Sure.
So when I was talking about like gene expression, often we think that because like we might have a certain predisposition to getting certain things like certain cancers or certain things like that. The awesome news is that even if you were born with certain genes, there are certain genes that you can turn on and off by your diet and your lifestyle, right? It's actually, it's really amazing how our bodies are. Like we can make choices that can change our future. So it's like, even if we're like worried that, maybe our parents had some different things like high blood pressure, and we're like, oh, I'm going to have high blood pressure, then we actually are not. It's not like set in stone. I have to talk down here, okay, Zane? Do you have to go back at school? Okay, let me see. I'll go back over here. He's doing homeschooling, so let me see if it's not so bad out here again.
That's our world. This is our new world here. So
yeah, he is a homeschool. and he's 6 years old. So, so I'm going to try back out here again. Hopefully that race ended. So basically what I'm saying is like our health can be in our hands, right? Like every bite that we take, it really is a choice for our health in the future. So it's pretty exciting that we can make those changes bite by bite, because when we're talking about emotions, it's not just in our head, it is in our gut too. It's literally in our whole body. That's why I love yoga. I love like moving it through, and I often say that energy can't be created or destroyed, which we know, but then it has to go somewhere. It has to manifest somehow, right? So if we don't move it through our body, we don't digest those experiences too, then it's gonna somehow show up in different forms. And so connecting that idea that we need to really process not just our food, but our experiences, we're gonna be healthier that way too. Some medications can help. So like antidepressants actually help sometimes, because right, it's taking down that depression. It's going to help your body digest better because it's taking you out of that fight or flight response. So talking to your doctor obviously about these things, but there are certain medications that can help. But you have to find what works best for you. Other things like B vitamins and minerals, I feel like minerals are really not focused on enough. I feel like we're always like vitamins, but no one talks about minerals enough. Minerals are, I have a little like dropper, and I just squeeze it up and put minerals in my water every day, and I drink them because our soil is really depleted of minerals now. So the food that we're getting is just not the same it used to be. I think I heard that like a tomato has like 50% less nutrients than it did in 1950.
And I would think it's less than that at this point.
Yeah.
What you think, Lauren?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I actually read an interesting study that was looking at nutrient data, comparing apples, and an apple in like 1924 had like 4 grams of protein, which, you probably wouldn't see that in an apple today. Not that protein is like the only nutrient to focus on, but just really interesting to see how, our food has changed. Absolutely. It's real. It's not fake.
Exactly. So like all different nutrients, but just focusing on saying like B vitamins, minerals, vitamin D, and omega fatty acids have really been linked to mood and mental disorders. So that, that's another big thing. So if we are feeling super stressed out, it's like, and we're not digesting well, and we don't feel good, all these things, it's like we have to look at our nutrition and how we're digesting that in order to feel better. Even like just drinking enough water. It's like such a simple thing to do. But when I was talking about water, something I really found that helps, and I've had different people ask like, how should I drink water with my meals? So sometimes people want to say, oh, I'll drink like a bunch of water before I eat or after, and or during. And honestly, you want to just drink enough water while you're eating to get your palate wet and your food moist so that it can help it digest. But you don't want to drink a ton of liquids. Like say if you drink like a whole thing of even soda with your dinner and then you're eating, like you're probably going to feel crappy after. Stomach's going to hurt. You're going to be too full. It's going to be hard to digest. It's more important to drink more water before or like after you've digested. And during the meal, just sip on water.
Let me just add to that. I like to drink water. Maybe if I know I'm going to eat at 6:15, I'll drink water at about 5:45, maybe a whole full glass. And then when I'm eating, I might sip, but I've gotten into the habit lately of trying to wait 20 minutes after my meal is complete to start drinking water. But at the same time, after 7:30 p.m., I'm not trying to drink much water at all.
Yeah. And so having intentional times to drink water doesn't matter. Waking up and drinking a glass of water is getting your whole body to wake up. I often heard people doing like lemon water, that is waking your body up, even though it seems acidic. It's turns into alkaline in your body. So warm water is great too. I feel like that's easier in digestion. At least room temperature. Really ice cold water really kind of shocks the system, and then your body has to get it to body temperature before it can use it. I mean, of course, when it's really, really hot here in Florida, it probably feels good to drink ice cold water. But otherwise, yeah, just room temperature. You don't need the water to be ice cold. Unless I say, oftentimes, if there's like controversy about if you should drink water ice cold or drink it this way, I feel like whatever gets you to drink the water, you know, like if you're not going to drink it unless it's ice cold, then just drink it ice cold, because the benefit of it outweighs the risk of you not drinking it, you know. I often put 2 electrolytes in my water, which helps a lot because, and with a little flavor, you know, it's like exciting thing. Especially
Paige, you're breaking up again. You're breaking up a little bit.
Okay, I don't know what to do.
No, you're fine. We'll just keep trying. I mean, I just want to let you know when you start speaking. I don't want you to talk through that, but
yeah,
you're coming in good right now for the moment.
Okay, good. Also, amino acids and carbohydrates have a large impact on our mental health. So like, think about when you're hangry, right? You're usually not yourself, and you're not a really, you know, nice person when you're hangry. But definitely carbohydrates help to get that serotonin going in your body. So that makes sense for many different times in our life. If we're like not feeling good mentally, or like times of PMS, if you're like, I need that, you know, that sugar or candy or whatever, the chocolate, it's like, it calms you. When I'm not feeling that great, I just want a big bowl of pasta. I'm just like, but then I embrace it, and I'm like, I feel great after eating some carbohydrates. And it's, of course, balance of everything, right? We don't want to be extreme about things, but to, you know, be realistic about how we eat. So talking about some like therapies and solutions, always first rule out other disease factors and allergies. I would say that's like number one. If you're having any kind of issues, do that, because you don't want to assume what you have going on and then it's something worse. It's always better to be proactive and get on it right away with, like, go to your doctor. I can even offer blood work, which is really cool. I have a discounted lab work or blood work program. Then I can send you to different places, and then I can read it for you. So and help you with your nutrition after. Or you can get a colonoscopy. Huh?
So that's pretty cool. I like that.
I know.
I'm glad you offer that service.
Yeah, it's actually because there's a lot of people that don't even have health insurance because it's too expensive. But if you could just get that blood work, and also in that blood work, I can offer, like, you know, checking for allergies or even just food sensitivities. So if you're like, I'm not really sure why I eat this and I'm having this kind of reaction, you may not actually be allergic, but you might have some kind of sensitivity to it. So it's helpful to know that, instead of, like, I've done elimination diets and they're great, but they're difficult to do because you have to really be committed to it. And even then, there might be an ingredient that you're not like, somehow you're missing, and you're not understanding why you're having that reaction. So once you kind of rule out that it's not something more serious, like I said, sometimes it's just IBS, right? Which you're like, great, okay, what does that mean? So you have to learn, like, what your triggers are. And that's where I got the elimination diet into my life and helped kind of figure, okay, this food really triggers a bad response in my body. And then these ones are okay. And then these ones are totally fine. So other therapies I have worked, getting into like cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, psychotherapy, hypnotherapy, which actually, like, next month in my event, I'm going to have a hypnotherapist. I'm excited about that. Relaxation therapy, which I'll get into more, dietary alterations, education, supplementation, and pharmacology measures. So like relaxation therapy, that really means like, you know, massage, progressive muscle relaxation, visualization, like meditation, peaceful music, yoga, acupuncture, right? There's so many things like that we know can help us. And that actually helps digestion, which is, like I said, this whole time, all this is related. So it's really, you fix one thing, you fix the other, because, right, everything is connected. Other things I found that work too, just like ginger is really powerful. Ginger is an amazing root that works where you can put it in your food, you can put it in tea. Peppermint and fennel tea work really well. Peppermint's great for pain, and fennel tea works if you're like really gassy and your stomach's like it's hurting, it won't digest. Fennel's great. Taking probiotics and digestive enzymes are pretty safe to take. Like you won't have a bunch of side effects, right, compared to other things. So starting with that. I just found, say if I go out to dinner, I keep like a little pack of, digestive enzymes with me. I keep HCl with me. I also have these awesome chewables from like doTERRA that I sell to, that are like all these different like ginger and the fennel and the peppermint. It's like one chewable, and then people are always so happy when I bring them, because say you go out to eat and then everyone's like, oh, I'm so full. And then I'm like handing out all my stuff and everyone feels better after, because it's good just to be prepared. Like if you know you have these issues, like, right, have a little emergency pack with you, or when you're going out, prepare and eat something before, so you're not getting starving and get into that hangry place and then eat whatever you eat really fast, and then you're regretting it. So it's really about preparing yourself. And with mindful eating, we have to, everything gets affected. Like we have to have that conscious awareness and compassion to really have that healthy eating experience. And each time is a new chance to start over and to really do it again. And the times that you decide to be unhealthy with your choices, then just have fun with it. And what the consequences are. So that's going to, it's not like we're going to try to be perfect all the time, but we're going to allow ourselves that grace to really, like we're learning about ourselves all the time, especially because our bodies are always changing and evolving. And so really, like I was saying about the individual choices, like there's so many different layers. That's what I love to work with people one-on-one, because it's fun for everyone to get to like learn about yourself and discover like what works best for you. It may not work for everybody, right? But to get really into detail with it, it's pretty much, this is why I want to go with all these different areas, to really show you like how you have to look at it from all these different perspectives to really improve your digestion. And so really, after like all this education that you've gotten, I can offer yoga, meditation, blood work, mindful eating techniques, and then whole food. I sell like all different whole food concentrates and things like that, and one-on-one nutrition counseling. And I can even do it online too now, which actually I think is awesome. So it doesn't matter where you are. This is what we would be doing in person anyways. We'd just be sitting here talking. I love to do this for people, because I feel like it's a service that everyone can improve their nutrition, digestion. And once you do, you feel better. I mean, most of us don't even know how good we really can feel. And we've gotten used to feeling not that great, So it's just, I can give a discount for anybody that watches this and mentions this, because I really want it to be accessible for everybody. So if you're comfortable with that and you want to reach out, and I really appreciate being on today and getting this experience. So if anyone has questions, let me know. But I love doing this. Thank you.
No, we thank you, and we're just grateful to have you today. And anyone, again, she's offering a discount. Mention Reboot Wellness for her services. And if you have any questions right now, just feel free to put them in the chat. We'll stay on a few more minutes. Lauren, you got any specific questions, or you got a few pieces of things you want to add?
I do. I have a couple of questions for Paige, just that I think might be great for our viewers to hear the answers to. Something you just said at the end there, and this so resonates with me because I find this so much in my own practice in nutritional therapy. People really do not know how badly they feel sometimes until they feel better. That's like the water is so muddied with different types of symptoms that are all kind of connected. And then that's actually why, I always keep track, of course, of what's happening with them when we start together. And then when we finish, sometimes I'll say, so how's this? And they'll go, oh, I didn't even remember that I had that. It's like the memory is so short. But so along this vein, how would people know, right, that they might need some help? I mean, aside from having pain when eating, which some people think is totally normal, issues with their bowel movements, we're not always talking about this stuff with other people or even with our doctors. So how would people know? What would be some basic things that they would know that they would need some support?
This actually, it's funny. Like, I remember growing up, and I was so uncomfortable talking about poop, right? It's like one of those things.
Yeah. Because you're talking dirty and it's bad.
Yeah. It's like,
meanwhile, it's like the diagnostic tool, it's a gold mine.
And I always thought, oh my gosh, I like laugh. And then I'm like, no, now I'm like, I want to know. And so it's called the Bristol stool chart. You can look at that, and it's a great reference. You can just, look it up on Google in the images, and it will show you like on a scale of like.
I have a mug.
It shows you pictures, and it gets like a detailed explanation, and it shows you where healthy bowel movements would be and what they should look like, and so basically that's a great tool right there. And so if you're like, whoa, I'm like way on the either end of the scale, which would be either constipation or diarrhea, right? Like way different ways to approach it too. But then in the middle, like we have that perfect area, right? We try to aim for. And so I actually use that when I have my clients come to me. I give them a bunch of stuff to fill out. And then when they fill out their like food diary, I have them actually put the number on the stool chart next to when they go to the bathroom and when they do, and how often they are, so it's like, that way, at least with being discreet enough, I can be like, oh, okay, this is where you are, without having really have to talk about it. Because it is, you're like, maybe someone doesn't know me, and then they have to talk about that, and they're like, I don't want to do that. So that's one of my favorite tools because it's just easy. So that can kind of give you an idea where you're at. But yeah, that's one that I like.
So let me ask you this. Are you, do you give subtle hints that they should look down when they're having their bowel movements? How do you handle that? Do you tell them to take a look-see?
So, and like when I often send like an email with everything that you should fill out, and then I say, okay, this is what this chart is. So every time you go to the bathroom, find what number you are on this chart. Okay. And, I mean, I think most people, when you go to the bathroom, usually look, but I don't know. I guess some people may not, but it's good to know, like, okay, am I healthy? It's like when I've had like beets before, and I didn't know that they turn everything red. And then I looked up.
I think you're having intestinal bleeding. Yeah. I had somebody come in
and I went to the doctor. They're like, no, you just ate some beets. And it's like, yeah, we want to make sure we're healthy. Like, there's all these different ways to know, like, indicators of our health, and definitely looking in the toilet is important. We do that people know that with pee, the color of your pee shouldn't be orange, right? It's good to know, like, oh, how hydrated I am. Another way to know how hydrated you are, you can like pinch your skin on your knuckle, and if it stays up, which I need to hydrate, that's one way that's kind of fun to see. If it falls right back down, then it's like
you're nice and hydrated.
Yeah.
I got work to do.
Yeah, I need a drink. I think I had some alcohol last night, so yeah.
Oh, well, that'll do it.
I've been drinking rooibos tea all morning, so I guess I need to just drink some plain water.
Even tea, it dehydrates you because it's a diuretic. It makes you pee more, right? So you want to drink more water, the better, really. Like, most people don't drink enough water, but yes. Any other questions?
Any other poopy questions, Lauren? Go for it.
Well, I just wanted to see, did we have any from the Facebook Live? Any
No, not
comments,
so far. I'm
questions?
tracking that. Yeah. If anyone has any questions, feel free. We're talking about digestion.
Good,
We're
good.
talking
Well, I
about
have
the queen of the castle. Go for it, Lauren.
one other question. We kind of heard or saw your little boy there. That just made me think, a lot of people who might see this are parents, moms, dads.
Mhm.
They may have some questions too about how to best support their children's digestion and nutrition. Do you have any kind of good takeaways for them as well?
Yeah, I actually started with the Juice Plus company, and I love they do these whole food gummies for them, and actually they eat these gummies and it changes their palate and they start to crave healthier foods. And then I've also
Wow.
grown in my tower garden, which I'm going to get back up and running since I moved here. When kids can actually be involved with the process of food, they want to eat healthier. Like if they like actually garden and they watch it grow and then they want to eat it, they get really excited about eating healthier. And I think it's a lot of kids like this is my boyfriend's child, but he doesn't, if you let kid pick, they're gonna eat like a kid. They don't know what they're supposed to eat. They're gonna want like, just what they're familiar with, and they need to try, at least try to taste something. It's like, I think like 10 times or more, even to have their taste buds start to get familiar with it, right? They're creating their palate and they don't understand, like at first they say something might be like, no, because they're used to when they're, breast milk is sweet and it's fattening, right? It's like those flavors like fattening and sweet are like, that's what we know in it. That's comforting and that's familiar. So when we introduce like sour and bitter and flavors like that, at first our bodies are like, no, I don't want that. That's weird, so it takes time to keep reintroducing it to actually develop to want to eat it. I was like one of the kids that wanted Brussels sprouts and broccoli, though. I was like one of those kind of kids that actually liked that stuff, which is, I was a little bit different with that. But yeah, you can sneak in more fiber into their food too. Like with tomato sauce, you can like add some pumpkin or carrots like blended in there, and there's like sneaky ways you can make food healthier and get more fiber. And often like constipation is usually not enough fiber, not enough water, and movement. Those are like the three major things with constipation for anybody. So if we change all those and then there's still constipation, then there might be a bigger issue going on. Yeah, so
Wow, wonderful.
Cool.
Great answer. Thank you.
yeah.
I mean, this is again, this weekend was supposed to be the Reboot Wellness Cruise. So I'm supposed to be on a boat today. We're all supposed to be on a boat today. But we're doing it digitally because of the times that we find ourselves in. So I thank you for this today, Paige. And again, you'll give a discount to anybody that mentions Reboot Wellness. If you want to reach Lauren, feel free to let them know how they can get a hold of you as well.
Yes, you can find me at my website, Bloom Mind Body, www.bloom1mindbody.com, or on Instagram at Bloom_Mind Body, or Facebook, Bloom_Mind Body as well. All of us should be tagged here. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to any of us on social media. You can contact us through our websites. We'll be happy to support you.
Thank you for being the first presenter of the Reboot Wellness digital experience. And this was a great discussion. I mean, we all had potty talk. I love it.
I know, get to know each other right away.
And of course, everyone knows how they can reach me. And also you can scan that QR code up there as well for a 50-minute free consultation with me. So thank you very much. You guys have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Have a great day.
See you soon.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.